Hi guys, how's it going today? I am wanting to sit down and film another video for you guys. Thought it'd be kind of fun to do a tiny home since that is one of the newest packs that we have. And I really enjoyed using the tiny living pack. I have not actually lived in a tiny home myself. I don't really like the gameplay because I like having huge families. So for me, just in my personal, when I'm playing for myself, I don't like to play in tiny homes, but I like to build them and I find to be like really creative. And this one I actually really enjoyed because I didn't make it a micro home. I made it a true tiny home. So you're going to see me kind of play around with the layout a lot. It took me about 30 or 40 minutes just to get the actual housing done, not even including decorating or anything like that, just getting the walls put up because I really wanted it to have a cottage kind of feel to it. I wanted it to have a lot of flowers. I wanted it to be very fun and very just kind of cutesy. This is in Newcrest for those wondering of where I've placed it, and it's on like a 15 by 20 lot, I believe. And as you guys can see, it is the Comfy Cubby lot type, and that is what I put it up in the gallery as Comfy Cubby Sim Sammy. And if you guys want to play in this house, feel free to go download it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I have play tested the entire house. It is completely good for playing. There is no issues. You're going to see a couple things that look like they would not allow your sim to play in it, but I promise everything is perfectly fine. And I had just my adult, I just made a random adult sim to live in here, but I actually had the thought of this being a house for a single parent and their daughter. It could have two sims in it, but the way I had to put the couch into the house or the Murphy bed into the house, I just don't see it being feasible for two sims. It kind of was a little annoying trying to figure out the inside layout. You're going to see me mess around a lot with this layout. Just because I knew I wanted to have a kitchen, a dining room, and a living room, obviously. And I also wanted to have the office down here. I say office, more than just like have a computer down here. And I had the idea to have a back door in the middle of that wall. Just did not end up working. Um, and so I kind of played around. I thought about putting the living room like right into that little nook by the door. I thought that'd be really cute. But then I couldn't figure out where to place the TV. So ended up nixing that actually. So you're gonna just kind of see me mess up a little bit around here. No big deal. I feel like messing up is part of the fun. I did end up staying with that couch though, and I really like that rug from Laundry Day. Um, and the reason I ended up moving everything around was because I could not figure out how to get a kitchen into this tiny home, and I mean a usable kitchen. So it was just too small of a space where I was wanting it, and so I decided to go ahead and move it to where the couch is. And you'll see that in a second. I think this could work if you only had one sim living in the house, but because I would ideally have at least two sims, an adult sim and a child sim, just decided to go ahead and move everything around so it's a little bit more accessible for Sims to walk around in. Yeah, you can see like I'm trying to figure out how to place a TV stand and try to figure some things out to make it a little bit more fun to play in. This is also not going to be the last spot you see the couch in. I ended up moving it again because it just didn't fit in the space, especially when I went to go place a dining room. So went ahead and fixed that. I used mostly Parenthood pack for the kitchen and of course Tiny Living because I feel like you have to. The kitchen is probably my favorite part of the entire build. I feel like it came out really cute. I ended up using just shelves instead of cabinets. I thought cabinets would have been too much for this kind of small space. So I did a hood and then I just used those little shelves that you saw, and I ended up using the Tiny Living cluttered shelf that has like the teapot, that one right there. And I actually mixed it with these shelves. And I thought that was a really cool idea. I had not seen that done before. So it was a lot of fun and I feel like it came out really cute for the space, and it allowed me to kind of add some more clutter in without it being on the ground and making the house look a little bit more lived in. I really wanted to have a window in the kitchen, but it just was not going to work out. So I went ahead and nixed that idea as well and just left it as a tiled backsplash. I have never really used this tile from Parenthood. I don't personally like it that much, but I thought it fit this space nicely for this build, and I would see it like you being used in like a decades build maybe, and I might look at doing that this week as one of my ideas, just kind of floating out there, see what y'all think. I really love the mason jar lights from Parenthood. I did end up sizing them down because they were a little bit too much for the space. They kind of got in the way as I was moving around. So I did size those down, and I still left them in there. Thought it made the room look really cute. And normally I just use the little saucer lights because I find that I can kind of forget that they're there. I find lighting to be really annoying to look at when I'm actually playing in The Sims, so tend to use something that's not noticeable most of the time. Again, I really like the way that that shelving came out. I thought it was a really cute idea. It allowed me to put so much clutter on there. You see me doing my hidden objects now because I really wanted to use a lot of Debugs items and just make a really fun space. I thought the cookbooks going up there was really fun, especially next to the teapot. And then ended up adding like cereal, the little teapot set from outdoor living, and it just kind of came together really nicely, and I liked all of the orange in this space. Now upstairs it's not going to be the same orange vibe because that is literally a bathroom and a kid's bedroom, and well, I didn't see it correct for a kid to have an orange bedroom. I personally would not have wanted an orange bedroom as a kid. It's not my favorite color. So I don't know why I did a complete house in orange, but you know, we're out here, we're just living our best tiny home life. That is just vanilla from the debug menu. I like including that in the kitchen. I just kind of feel like it's cute. It's very realistic as to what you have. I finally figured out how to put pictures on the fridge, so I wanted to do that in this build. So I did a picture and a couple postcards just to kind of make it look a little bit more lived in and a little bit more fun to look at in the kitchen. I just deleted the wall behind the refrigerator, and then I was able to place the postcards on the fridge. Let me know, guys, what kind of builds you are going to want to see in the next couple weeks. With the way that everything's looking, I'm feeling like I'm going to have quite a bit of time on my hands to sit here and do some really fun builds. I'm thinking about doing a really large build potentially. I'm not really good at doing large builds. I get really bored with them, and I don't know how to fill a space. Landscaping is especially not my strong suit. On this lot, I end up doing a lot of landscaping, and I never do that, so hopefully you guys like it because I was actually really proud of myself. I've never been able to pull off landscaping, and I saw a really cool pond idea from Lucy? Simlicy? Something like that. And while I was building this tiny home, I was watching all of her videos, kind of getting some ideas and some tips and tricks from her because I really enjoy watching other builders and seeing how they do this because I feel like it's very difficult to kind of place everything the way you would want it. It's a little annoying in The Sims, so I appreciate seeing other builders and how they work. This is actually how I ended up placing the couch. It's on one of those sidewalls, and you'll see that like it's going to look like it's not going to fit and that you would not be able to use the bed with the TV that I ended up placing, but again, completely fine. There is only one little item that you might have to move just slightly, and that's a little puff that I put next to the couch. That might have to get moved ever so slightly out of the way just because I did notice there was an issue with getting the bed down for that puff. You can see what I mean though when I said that this layout was a struggle for me. I did not know if I was going to be able to finish this house. It took me so long, but I really do enjoy how it looks, especially the half wall kind of adding a little bit of a barrier because I do end up doing the dining room table there, and then I do the computer underneath the stairs. I thought that was kind of fun, and that is the puff that I'm talking about. I end up placing it kind of like a little side chair next to the couch, and it looks really nice, but it just needs to be moved like literally just a little smidge over so that you can pull the bed down. I did have all of my CC enabled, so I was making sure not to pull anything. There is no CC in this build. It is all out of packs. I do use quite a few packs. I would like to maybe do a base game build. I don't know if people are still interested in that. I do have almost all of the packs except for like Strangerville and Vampires and a couple of the stuff packs. I am waiting for the knitting pack to come out because I feel like that's going to be one of my favorite packs. Hopefully, it comes out in the next couple weeks. Well, next couple months, I'm sure it'll come out, but I would really love to see that and play with that. And you can see I just placed a very simple dining room table. It's just 2 seats because there's only 2 Sims living here. Did a little backpack, a little bit of kids clutter down there. I really like the plant underneath the window from Seasons. I love using that plant to add in a little bit of greenery, just kind of brighten the space up. And then I did use debug items to place some table mats. You can kind of see how all of the shelves came together as well. I truly loved the shelves in this game. I think I'm going to end up doing that in a couple more builds. I had never done that before. I've always used cabinets. I just feel like it's too much in a tiny space. So I don't know what drove me to use those shelves. I don't think I've ever used those shelves in a build, but really loved how that looked in this space. And then I personally, when I do builds, I like to have some things underneath the stairs just to make it a little bit more interesting. So I ended up placing those bags with little oranges underneath it, and then I placed dog food because I was like, oh, we could have a dog in this house. Ended up not doing that because I realized that we didn't have a computer in this build, so I removed all of the dog or cat inspired stuff, and I ended up just doing very simple 2 sim household with a computer. Nothing really reminiscent of an animal living there. Of course, you guys could add in an animal if you wanted to. I find it kind of difficult in a tiny living space, but totally up to you guys on what you would want to do. I was trying to kind of do a cool curtain, but just did not come together the way I wanted it to. I really hope we get some more of the sheer paneling curtains because I use those all the time, but I need them in more sizes. So I still have not done anything to the exterior of the house, and it's going to end up changing slightly just so I can get this top room done. I don't know what happened in the top room. I just could not figure out the layouts to save my life on this house. It is exactly 64 tiles, and I had a fake chimney for the outside because I feel like it made it a little bit more interesting to look at from the outside. But there is no fireplace on the inside because I could not fit it at all. And you see, I'm truly struggling with this layout up top. So my original idea was to have this be the kids' bedroom, which is why I'm placing a desk in there, and quickly realized that wasn't going to work because the beds did not fit. So I ended up moving stuff around, trying to make a bigger room for the daughter. I felt like the daughter deserved her own room. I was gonna make it an open space and then just have the bathroom be closed off, but decided to try and make everything fit to where there was 2 cohesive rooms. And I did end up doing it, but it's not going to end up looking like this at all. I ended up moving the computer downstairs, like I've mentioned, and then actually moving the wall out towards the front so that there's not a super long hallway. The 2 doors of the bedroom and bathroom will actually end up touching, and you'll see that in a second, but just kind of jumping ahead. I went ahead and am just making the room as cluttered as possible. I feel like a kid living in this kind of a house is going to have a very cluttered room. I know I would have as a kid, so I did put the clutter underneath the bed, and the sim that I had playtesting this was able to sleep in the bed even though there was clutter on the ground and there was a stuffed animal on the pillow. She was still able to sleep there, so no worries. And then because this is a kid's bedroom, I chose to just kind of do the messy posters look. I really wanted to do the posters on the back of the door, and you'll see I did end up placing it there. I really loved that idea, but ended up moving it around to make space for some other things. And of course, like I said, I've changed the layout a little bit of this room, so I removed the posters in the back of the door. But I want to do that in a future build. I really love doing kids' bedrooms. I find they have the most personality, and it allows for the most personality. So I will definitely be doing that in the near future. Like I said, just put the little computer underneath the staircase. It is playable. Your sim might wave and be like, oh, I can't go there, but they can. Just have them sit in the chair and it is all good. They can write jokes, they can do whatever they need to. Completely fine. And then this bathroom is, again, a very basic bathroom. I don't know how people do super fancy bathrooms in The Sims. I don't feel like I ever can, so this is just a very normal bathroom. I do end up making it a little bit bigger because there's just no way that you couldn't. Like you see, I'm completely rearranging everything in the kids' bedroom now, adding some more posters and some more clutter, and trying to make this bathroom actually a little bit more usable. You see, I just moved that door and then I moved to the other door, so they're now touching, and now the kids' bedroom is actually a lot bigger than what I was expecting it was going to be. Um, and I just added in a mirror, tried to make it a little bit more fun and friendly. There is not going to be a bathtub in this house, so it is not a toddler-friendly house. I could not figure out how to place a bathtub in there. I'm sure there is some kind of way to do it, but I really liked where the staircase was, and there was other things that I liked more that I just kind of gave up on having a bathtub. So if you are wanting to play with a toddler in this house, you might have a difficult time doing it. I'm sure there is a way to do it. You could do a bathtub outside. I've seen a lot of people do that, and with the way that I did the backyard, it would kind of make sense to have a bathtub out back, I think. It's just kind of totally up to your prerogative. I just did not find it important for the Sims that I had imagined. And I was looking for kind of a fun tile, but I did not see anything that I liked, so I just did a very basic tile. I ended up just doing white on white and then having very like clean lines in the bathroom. I really like having that clean aesthetic. I was looking to bring in some of the orange from downstairs into the bathroom upstairs. It just did not work out. And then I just kind of did a little gallery wall in the hallway as you're going up the stairs. Now back downstairs, I placed a Machino bookshelf. That book will fly in the air when the bed is down, so if that bothers you, then feel free to remove it. For me, I liked the way that it looked, so I just left it. I don't really care if it's floating in the air while my Sims are asleep, so I just liked the way that it looked in general while everything was down. And then I'm just kind of on the outside. I wanted to do a greenhouse. I've never done a greenhouse. And then I did a lot of stone accents, and I changed the stone so many times. Um, and I just wanted it to kind of be a very cottagey feel to it. I don't think I've ever done a cottage styled house. I don't even know if you can consider this cottage. To me, it is what a cottage would look like. I have never been to a cottage, so if this is wrong, I apologize. But I thought it came out really cute. I do end up playing with the terrain quite a bit, just to kind of have more flowers out there and make it a little bit more interesting to look at. The backyard is probably my favorite thing in the entire build, so I'm really excited to get to that point, and show it off to you guys. The front, I wanted to have a chair there, but it just didn't fit and it looked cluttered, and I just didn't like the way that it was coming together. So went ahead, pulled that idea, and then started on the backyard. The thing I found most important while doing this build is actually the flowers, because you guys see a lot of flowers on the side of the lot, and I actually found those flowers to kind of pull into the house on the actual lot and kind of make it look more cohesive, like there wasn't just clean grass and then a bunch of weeds on the side of the yard. So that's kind of why it turned into a very floral cottage type house, is because of those flowers on the side of the house. I did use a lot of ivy, and I actually started layering colors of the ivy to make it look a little bit more interesting. I had originally wanted to put a window there, but that was just too many windows on the front of the house, so I needed something to go there, and I decided on ivy. I thought that that would fit the space really nicely, and it made sense. As you can see, I'm playing with the terrain paint a little bit, trying to make it a little bit more interesting to look at and not just a flat ground. I do a lot of just random floral bushes. I resize them. I also layer my terrain paint, as you guys will see in a second, but just kind of talking through it. I do end up layering my terrain paint to make it a little bit more interesting to look at, and I do 3 different terrain paints when I do my flower beds. I just think it looks a lot better, but just some very simple flowers. I liked having the sunflowers in the front. I love sunflowers, they make me happy, so I wanted to do that for myself. And then I'm just layering the terrain paint. I just layered the soil, the dirt, and the little pine shavings. I just think it looks a lot like nicer. It looks more realistic to me, and then I added the ivy going up the house a little bit more. Now there's not really a back porch, but I did want to have like a little activity space, so I put an easel out there. The sim that I created is an artist sim, and I have a little flower arrangement station that also goes out there. I really like it because that way if it's raining, like they're still covered by the roof, because the roof does extend out over that little porch. And then I just had a terrain paint kind of patio, I guess you could say, on the actual ground that had like the grill and the trash can. So it's a really good way for the tiny home, especially to have a patio without actually having the squares of a patio. That way you can still have the benefits of having a tiny home. I thought this grill really fit nicely in this theme of a house. It is the one, I believe it's from Toddlers. It's either Toddlers or Kids Room, or sorry, Parenting. I don't know. It's from one of those kind of packs, and I really enjoyed it. I like having the bigger grills, but I think this one just fit the idea of the home a little bit more. And then here I am trying to build a pond. I've never done this before, so I actually expected it to not work whatsoever, but I actually really liked how it came out. So that's the reason it's still in the build, but I really enjoyed it. I seriously had never even thought about doing this, and I had saw it on someone else's lot and how they had done a pond. They look completely different, so it's not like I copied it, but I pulled the idea from the Sim Lucy person that I was talking about, and who's a freaking phenomenal builder, and I absolutely love watching her videos. So I just kind of decided to try it out in this build, and thought the worst that could happen is I deleted the footage, but it was such a cool like thing to have in the backyard, and it really added to the personality of the house. So I'm glad that I kind of went out there and did that. Let me know y'all's thoughts in the comments below because I loved it. It does still function as a pool as well, and I did end up using the ladder from Get Together, I believe it is, and it's kind of broken and unshambles, but it fit the vibe of the pond, so I left it there, as you can see. And that way, if you really wanted to, your Sims could swim around in the pond. I don't know if I would. It's not the most appealing place to swim, but it does function as a swimming pool. And then I just added some trees to make it look a little bit more forested, and then some algae and some like lily pads to make it look like a true pond. I think in the next lot that I build, I want to do the same kind of pond and a lot of trees like the one right next to it, so it looks a little bit more cohesive as a neighborhood. But again, cannot describe how happy I was with the pond. I wanted to have a little flower station for my sim, but I just didn't like the way that those plots looked, so I ended up just doing the wildflowers again and then adding in a monkey bar. And gave a nice like activity for the kid to do outside. And also I think it just fits the vibe really well of this house. I feel like this house has a very distinct personality, so it definitely was a lot easier than I thought to decorate, and I absolutely loved it. I loved how everything came together in the end, even though it was kind of frustrating in the beginning. And I hope that you guys like it, and it kind of gives you a little bit of an idea, a break from what's going on in the world. And if you guys end up playing this, please let me know. It is on the Sims Gallery at Cubby Comfy Sammy. So, and these are just the screenshots. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.